Ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk. But first, we need to go back through memory lane and go back to August 16th. But you also need to understand that as bulls, you cannot get greedy, and you have to understand we are getting into some very critical resistance levels. Now, do not confuse resistance with meaning that we cannot go higher than this resistance level. This is going to be a level of interest that you want to be very cautious at, and you will want to consider locking in profits as we come into this strong resistance, because you are going to have two pressures that could drive price lower. You are going to have bulls starting to lock in profits, and you are going to have the big bad bear starting to short the market. Now keep in mind, the big bad bear has a big brain, and that is why he has been sitting on the sideline, and he knows that the bulls are coming at him with an army of retail bears that are going to get absolutely obliterated as they squeeze through resistance. So I do have a downward trending arrow because I do think we are getting very close to a pullback, and I don't want anybody to tell me that you didn't see it coming. So there is a giant arrow pointed to the downward direction for that reason, but you need to be very cautious. And if you're going to try to short just because I drew a downward arrow on my chart, you have to remember that the rules that I have are that you have to lose support, which means we need to see price action losing our support trend line. All right, so listen, I want you all to do well, and if I didn't, I wouldn't even bother making this video, and that is why when I tell you things, you need to pay very close attention that we're letting price action do all the talking. And I did tell you exactly when we had support broken, and I did start to tell you how low we can go, because once you break support, it becomes a falling knife. And then I did tell you beware of the falling knife because we continue to lose support. So I don't want to see anybody out there trying to catch falling knives when we're clearly losing support. And I had a giant downward arrow drawn on the chart way before we ever even lost support. Remember, we follow price action on this channel, but if you don't understand how to follow price action and you're losing money because you don't understand my analysis, I would much rather you just unsubscribe and stop following my videos. Now, if you want to learn how to follow price action, I will be here each and every day continuing to tell you exactly what I think you should be looking for. But you need to also remember it is your responsibility to manage your risk. And I see just so many degenerates in this market talking about calls and puts like there's no such thing as buying shares, and just way too many people risking more than 1 to 3% of their account on each individual trade. So for that reason, I am going to remind you to manage your risk, and I will put the link for my risk management video in the description below. You need to learn to manage risk. And part of managing risk is not going all in calls and puts, especially during times of uncertainty. So moving forward, looking at this chart, we are in a short-term downtrend, but a medium-term uptrend. And I do believe the market is about to get extremely volatile and extremely choppy, which means it is going to be very difficult to trade because it's going to have whipsaws in both directions. This is my warning sign to you right now that if you are one of those degenerate traders that is only in all calls or all puts, you are going to get obliterated. Even if you're on a win streak, eventually you're going to blow up your account and lose it all. Learn risk management now, learn following price action and how to read charts, and learn what it means to understand when to exit a trade and build a trade plan. We are in a falling knife scenario, so you shouldn't be blindly buying calls. And we're also in a falling knife scenario, so you need to be very cautious buying puts because eventually we will find support and get a very strong bounce. So you should be trading small so that you can manage your risk, and you should know exactly every time you enter a trade exactly where you're going to exit, whether that be the profit target or the loss target. You need to take losses, and you need to keep losses small, and you need to make sure that your winners outweigh your losers. If you want to be profitable, you only need to win about 50% of your trades as long as you're using proper risk management, because your profits will outweigh your losses and you can still remain profitable. So remember, I'm telling you all of this because I'm here to help you. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be wasting my time. You need to understand that if my analysis is not helping you, you need to simply not watch it. I'd much rather have less viewers if my information isn't helping you, so please don't think you're hurting my feelings if you decide to go somewhere else. But moving forward, do expect a very volatile market, and I will be here each and every day helping you walk through it day by day. So this is why this is just a random update, because I felt like we needed to talk, and I want to remind you to manage your risk because it is going to be a very volatile market moving forward, and it is never as simple as you think. That is why you need some type of objective trade plan. If you don't have a trade plan and you don't know why you're entering a trade, then you should never even take that trade to begin with. Every single time you take a trade, you should know why you took the trade. You should know where your exits are, whether it's profit or loss. Otherwise, don't you ever even buy that trade. And make sure when you are trading the appropriate position size. Every time you lose 50%, you need to make double your money just to get back where you started, and you're going to continue to compound your losses until the point where you're going to blow up your account. So learn these things now, and you're going to be much better off in the long run. Don't just jump into trading and go instantly to the weekly options market thinking you're going to get rich quick. That is surely a quick way to file bankruptcy and end up in Chapter 11.